The first signal. The galaxy had existed in fragile harmony for thousands of years, a patchwork of alliances and treaties held together by thin threads of mutual benefit and careful diplomacy. The powerful empires, Royan, Daru, and Farron, ruled the stars with their vast fleets and advanced technology, confident that no species could challenge their dominance. But beyond the carefully monitored borders of known space, on a small, seemingly insignificant planet called Earth, something had changed. The first signal came without warning. An enormous, sleek human spacecraft appeared on the edges of the Royan Empire's trade routes, unlike anything ever catalogued. Its surface was obsidian black, glimmering under starlight, and its engines left no trace of conventional energy emissions. It was silent, mysterious, and deeply unsettling. Royan sensors barely detected it, as if the ship itself existed in the shadow of reality. In the heart of Royan territory, a general named Threxen stared at the holoscreen displaying the intruder. A chill crawled through his scales as he studied the ship. "What is this? Who dares violate our space?" A nervous officer replied, "Sir, the markings. It matches the descriptions of Earth ships. Humans." Threxen turned sharply, his yellow eyes narrowing. Humans. The primitives. Humans were a species the galactic powers had largely ignored. A death-world species, yes, with a reputation for brutality and chaos. But they were small, contained, and unimportant, or so everyone had believed. But this ship, it was unlike anything the Royan Empire had ever seen. The unusual message. The human vessel didn't attack. Instead, it broadcast a message, a simple transmission across the galactic channels. "Since you chose war, let us show you how it's done." The words rippled across the galaxy like a shockwave. The message was clear and deliberate. It was an open challenge. In the galactic capital, the council chamber descended into chaos as the message repeated itself over and over again. Council members argued, voices raised in anger and disbelief. "They dare provoke us," snarled Kaz, the representative of the Daru Confederacy. His claws dug into the table as he hissed with contempt. "The humans must be eradicated before they disrupt the balance." The leader of the Farron, an elder being with glowing silver eyes, remained calm. "Do not let arrogance cloud your judgment, Kaz. The humans have been quiet for centuries. Now they rise with technology we do not understand. This is not coincidence. This is preparation." The word hung heavy in the chamber. From the far side of the room, a soft voice spoke. It was Alraya, the young ambassador of the Plender Alliance. "We underestimated them. Perhaps it is time we understand them instead of assuming they are lesser than us." Her words were drowned out by the chorus of fear and anger. The council was divided. Some called for a preemptive strike, while others argued for caution. But amidst the debate, something much larger was happening. The Shadow Fleet. On Earth, deep in the subterranean halls of human command, a team of engineers and military leaders watched the galactic reactions unfold in real time. General Kate Malinova, leader of the operation, stood before the holomap of the galaxy. The edges of her mouth curled into a grim smile as she addressed her team. "They noticed," she said. The room murmured with satisfaction. For years, Earth had stayed hidden, observing, preparing. Humanity had quietly leaped forward in technology, harnessing energies the rest of the galaxy thought impossible. They had built a fleet in the shadows, ships capable of slipping between the cracks of space and time, invisible to most alien sensors. And now the first ship had been seen. The message had been sent. "They think we are alone," said a scientist named Dr. Elian Cortez, his voice shaking with anticipation. "They have no idea what's coming." General Malinova turned to the group. "Let them think what they want. This is only the beginning. If they seek war, they'll learn that humans don't play by their rules." Behind her, screens displayed Earth's growing shadow fleet, dozens of ships, each more advanced than the last. Humanity had been underestimated for too long. But this wasn't about revenge. This was about survival. A galaxy on edge. News of the human message spread across the galactic networks like wildfire. Entire worlds went silent, their leaders unsure how to respond. Civilians panicked, asking questions their leaders could not answer. Who were the humans really? What had they become? In the Royan Empire, General Threxen prepared his fleet. "We cannot let this stand," he told his officers. "If humans think they can challenge us, we will crush them." The Daru Confederacy followed suit, mobilizing their warships. Kaz sent a transmission to the council. "This is a challenge to our authority. We must respond with force, or the humans will spread like a disease." Yet not everyone was so certain. In private chambers, Alria of the Plender Alliance sent her own message to Earth, a quiet plea for peace. "Human leaders, we do not seek war. Meet with us. There is still time to choose another path." But the humans did not respond. Earth remained silent, its fleet hidden in the darkness. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for what came next. The calm before the storm. On the edge of Royan space, the first human ship disappeared, slipping back into the void. It left no trace behind, just a galaxy on edge and a message that would not be forgotten. "Since you chose war, let us show you how it's done." On Earth, General Malinova stood alone in her war room, staring at the stars. She knew the galaxy would respond with fire and fury, but she also knew something they did not. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for centuries. The galaxy believed themselves powerful, unbeatable. They were wrong. "We're ready," she whispered to herself. "Let them come." As humanity stood on the brink of its greatest conflict, a storm began to gather across the stars. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and it would never be the same again. The silent arsenal. The galaxy braced itself as rumors of the humans' challenge spread like wildfire. Across alien worlds, news networks replayed the message in an endless loop. "Since you chose war, let us show you how it's done." On the surface, it was arrogance. To the untrained ear, it sounded like hubris. But for those who paid attention, it was something far more chilling, a promise. Far from the Council's reach, hidden deep in Earth's solar system, humanity's silent arsenal was beginning to awaken. The Watchers, light years from Earth on the edge of the Royan Empire, the Watcher fleet monitored all galactic activity. It was an elite group of surveillance ships designed to patrol the borders and intercept unknown threats. Captain Vero Kren, a veteran Royan officer, leaned over his holomap, watching the faint traces of human movements. Strange patterns danced across the screen, ships appearing and disappearing like ghosts. "This makes no sense," Vero muttered. "Their ships don't behave like ours. They move, outside of space." His subordinate frowned. "Sir, you don't mean—" "Yes, I do." Vero's eyes narrowed. "Humans have found a way to navigate the void. They're bypassing the laws of physics." The crew fell silent. Every empire had tried to break those laws, to slip through the barriers of real space and appear anywhere, instantly. But every attempt had ended in failure, in catastrophe. Yet the humans had succeeded. A transmission broke Vero's thoughts. The sensors had caught movement. He turned sharply toward the screen, and his heart skipped a beat. A fleet of black human ships had appeared out of nowhere, hovering in the darkness like shadows. There were no energy readings, no signs of weapon systems, nothing but their ghostly, looming presence. "Send a report to the Council immediately," Vero ordered. "This is no ordinary fleet. Humanity's war rooms, beneath the frozen surface of Mars, in massive caverns carved by humanity's most brilliant minds, the war rooms were alive with activity. Leaders and strategists from every human nation gathered around digital screens, monitoring galactic responses. General Kate Malinova, humanity's commander, stood at the helm, her sharp gaze fixed on the holomap of the galaxy. Every move made by the alien empires was tracked and analyzed. Royan fleets mobilized. Daru scouts deployed. The council's still debating their next move, reported an analyst. Good, Malinova replied. Let them squabble. The longer they underestimate us, the better. Humanity had no interest in prolonging conflict, but they knew the truth. Survival demanded action. The galaxy's empires ruled through fear, crushing worlds that stood in their way. Earth had watched, learned, and waited. Now they were ready. The first strike. On a distant mining colony, controlled by the Daru Confederacy, the skies turned black. It began with a low hum that vibrated through the ground, shaking buildings and rattling the bones of every living thing. The colony's guards looked up, their reptilian faces twisting in confusion. What is that sound? One of them hissed, and then they saw it. A single human ship, larger than any they had ever encountered, emerged from a tear in the sky. Its hull reflected no light, and its engines made no noise. The air itself seemed to warp around it, as though reality was rejecting its presence. The guards scrambled to send a warning to their leaders, but it was too late. A pulse of blue energy rippled outward from the human ship, disarming every weapon and silencing every alarm. Within seconds, the entire colony was rendered defenseless. A voice broadcast through the colony's comm systems. We are not here to destroy you. Leave this colony, and you will live. The Daru guards stared at one another in shock. Humans had disabled an entire outpost without firing a single shot. The message repeated itself, and within hours, the Daru forces retreated. The colony, once a vital source of fuel for the Confederacy, had fallen into human hands without a drop of blood being shed. The galaxy reacts. Panic spread across the galaxy as news of the first strike reached the Council. They've taken a colony without violence. Kaz roared, slamming his claws onto the table. This is an act of war. But not all the council members shared his fury. The ancient Farron leader's silver eyes glimmered as she spoke softly. They chose to give mercy when they could have given death. Why? Does it matter? Kaz snapped. They are a threat. We must destroy them before they spread further. But what if we are wrong? Alraya of the Plender Alliance countered, her voice steady but firm. They have done what we could not. They have fought without blood. Perhaps they seek something greater. The council fell into argument again, but one truth loomed over them all. The humans were no longer primitives. They were something far worse. They were strategists. The Shadow Fleet advances. In the depths of space, the human fleet moved like a silent storm. Each ship traveled through folds in reality, appearing where no alien could predict. With every move, they took territory from the empires, mining colonies, trade routes, and fuel stations, without firing a single shot. Humanity's strategy was clear: win the war without violence. Yet deep in the heart of human command, General Malinova knew the alien empires would not stay passive for long. They will strike back, she said to Dr. Elian Cortez, who sat nearby analyzing alien signals. He nodded gravely. And when they do, they'll come with everything they have. Malinova stared at the galaxy displayed before her. Then let them come. We're ready. From the shadows, humanity's fleets moved ever closer to the heart of the galactic empires. Their quiet conquest was unnerving, unstoppable. The aliens had built their power on fear. But humans had built their strength on something far more enduring: resilience. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. Whispers of the fallen. The galaxy's empires, mighty and proud, had ruled the stars for millennia, but their silence was now deafening. Humanity moved like a shadow across the void, reclaiming colonies, severing trade routes, and disrupting centuries-old power structures. It was a strategy no one had expected: war without war. To those who witnessed it, it felt like a phantom menace, an unseen enemy pulling strings across star systems. To the humans, it was something far more profound: a declaration that the rules of the galaxy no longer applied. The falling trade routes. The Daru Confederacy felt the first real blow. Their lifeline, The Foreign Trade Network, a vast interstellar route that fed dozens of their core worlds, had gone dark overnight. Ships loaded with supplies vanished without a trace. Scouts sent to investigate never returned. In the heart of the Daru Command Center, Kaz stared at the empty holomap with unbridled rage. "What do you mean the routes are gone?" he snarled. His claws scraped against the metal table, a screeching sound that made his subordinates flinch. A nervous officer stepped forward, clutching a datapad. "The ships. It's like they disappeared. Sensors show nothing. It's as if space itself swallowed them." Kaz's voice was low and dangerous. "Humans." The word hung in the air like poison. The Daru Confederacy had once laughed at humanity's challenge. Now, they were losing ground to an invisible enemy. "Deploy every scout we have," Kaz ordered. "Find the humans. I want to know how they're doing this." But the humans would not be found. A different kind of weapon. While alien fleets scoured the stars, humanity's shadow fleet continued its silent campaign. On board the flagship Vanguard, General Kate Malinova convened her council of war. "Our strategy is working," said Commander Arlen Greaves, pointing to the latest reports. "We've severed 4 major trade routes, crippled their colonies, and forced the Daru to retreat without a fight." Dr. Elian Cortez chimed in, his voice thoughtful. "It's not enough. The empires will adapt. They're too proud to let this continue. If we want to win, we need to escalate, not with destruction, but with a message they can't ignore." Malinova nodded, understanding exactly what he meant. "We show them the truth." A murmur ran through the room. "Are we ready for that?" Greaves asked. "We've prepared for years," Malinova replied. "It's time the galaxy learns what humans are truly capable of." The Ghost Station. The escalation came swiftly. On the outskirts of the Plender Alliance territory, a massive space station appeared overnight. It hadn't been built. It had simply arrived. It was black as midnight, a fortress of unyielding steel that defied all logic. The station broadcast a single message across every channel in the galaxy. "We have no wish to conquer. We have no need for war. But if you threaten us, you will see the depths of what we have built." The transmission sent chills through every empire. Scouts dispatched to investigate the station never made it back. Their last messages contained fragmented, incoherent reports. "Weapons beyond imagination. They see us before we see them. Space bends around them." The council met in a state of panic. Kaz, as always, demanded an all-out assault. "We cannot let humans build such monstrosities in our space. We must destroy it before it's too late." But Alria of the Plender Alliance spoke up. "They haven't attacked us. They've given us a choice. Perhaps we should listen." "No," Kaz bellowed. "If we don't act, they will spread like a plague. We must strike now." The council splintered, divided between those who feared humanity and those who wondered if war could still be avoided. A warning ignored. In the dead of space, the Daru Confederacy made its move. A fleet of over 100 warships surged toward the human station, their weapons armed and their intentions clear. On the bridge of the flagship Requisition, the Daru commander bared his teeth. "Humans think they can intimidate us. We'll burn this station to ash." The fleet closed the distance, weapons locking onto the silent human fortress. For a moment, it seemed victory was certain. Then, the station came alive. Without a single weapon fired, space itself seemed to fracture. The stars distorted, the Daru ships trembled as reality shifted around them. Systems failed, shields disintegrated, engines sputtered into silence. In the span of 30 seconds, the entire Daru fleet was paralyzed, floating helplessly in the void. A human voice echoed through every Daru ship. It was calm, unyielding, and terrifyingly human. "We warned you. Leave now, or you will not return." The Daru commander stared at the flickering consoles in horror. He knew, without question, that the humans could destroy them if they wanted to. "Pull us back," he shouted. Retreat. The Daru fleet limped away, defeated without a single shot fired. Ripples in the stars. News of the Daru fleet's humiliation spread quickly. For the first time in galactic history, an empire had been forced to retreat without battle. The message was clear. Humanity would not be conquered. In the council chambers, silence reigned. Kaz seethed, his pride shattered. The ancient Farron leader finally spoke, her voice soft but resolute. The humans are not the plague you fear, Kaz. They are the storm you refuse to see. Her words were prophetic. Across the galaxy, the empires began to rethink their approach. For every war fleet they mustered, the humans had already countered in ways no one could predict. Humanity did not just fight wars. They changed the very nature of them. Earth prepares. On Earth, General Malinova stood on the observation deck of the Vanguard. She watched as the human fleet prepared for its next move. Silent, methodical, unstoppable. She knew the galaxy had seen only the beginning. The empires had ruled through fear for too long. It was time they learned what humanity had to offer: resistance, resilience, and the power to choose a different path. But if the empires refused to listen? Malinova's eyes narrowed as the stars stretched before her. They'll learn what happens when humanity is underestimated. A reckoning in the void. The galaxy no longer breathed in silence. The balance that had persisted for centuries was unraveling, thread by fragile thread. Human ingenuity had disrupted the established order, and the empires, proud and unyielding, teetered on the edge of chaos. The whispers of Earth were no longer whispers. They were thunder in the void. The Council's gambit. In the heart of the galactic capital, the council chamber had become a war room. Maps of star systems floated in holographic form, each marked with red where human activity had been detected. Kos, the Daru representative, stood with fists clenched, rage simmering behind his reptilian eyes. We must stop this madness. The humans make fools of us all. We cannot allow this plague to spread further. His words hung heavy in the room. But this time, the council was not unified in its anger. The Farron leader, her silver eyes glowing softly, raised a hand to silence the room. Every move the humans have made has been measured. They do not seek destruction. They seek balance, a balance we destroyed long ago. Kos slammed his claws on the table. They humiliate us. Do you not see it? They are not diplomats. They are conquerors, hiding behind shadows and empty threats. From the far side of the chamber, Ulraya of the Plender Alliance spoke, her voice calm but firm. You are wrong, Kos. The humans gave us a choice. We ignored it. Now they show us strength, and you would have us escalate into ruin. The council splintered, voices rising in argument. Finally, a decision was made. The empires would gather their combined might and deliver a final warning to Earth. But to Kos and the Daru Confederacy, words meant nothing. Their fleets had already begun to move. A fleet in the dark, far from the galactic capital. The largest war fleet ever assembled traveled toward Earth. Thousands of warships from every major empire moved in formation, an unstoppable armada of fire and fury. The fleet's commander, a veteran Royan named Saren Vex, stood on the bridge of her flagship, Sovereign Wrath. Her confidence was absolute. Humans may be clever, but they cannot fight all of us, she said to her officers. When we reach Earth, they will submit or burn. But as the fleet approached the edges of human space, something unexpected happened. The void itself came alive. One by one, ships began to vanish from the fleet's sensors. The darkness swallowed them whole, leaving no wreckage, no signals, nothing. Status report. Vex barked. Her officers scrambled to respond. We don't know, Commander. Entire battalions are gone. It's like they never existed. In the distance, faint shapes began to appear. Human ships, sleek and dark, flickering in and out of sight. They surrounded the fleet like a predator stalking prey. Humanity's broadcast. Suddenly, Every screen aboard the alien warships flickered to life. A human face appeared, General Kate Malinova. Her expression was calm, yet unyielding. Her voice echoed through the vast fleet. You were warned. This galaxy is no longer yours alone to control. You have gathered your strength, and now you stand at the edge of extinction by your own hands. The message was not angry. It was not boastful. It was a statement of fact. Humanity does not seek war, she continued. We seek respect. We seek peace. But we will defend ourselves against any who threaten us. The image shifted, revealing the Shadow Fleet in full. A wall of black ships stretching across the void. Engines silent, weapons primed. For centuries, you ruled through fear. Now, you learn what it means to face an enemy that does not break. The transmission cut out, leaving only silence. The void strikes back. On the sovereign wrath, Saren Vex's heart pounded as she barked orders. Prepare all weapons. We'll blast them out of existence. But her officers hesitated. Commander, our systems. They're failing. Human ships emerged from the void, weapons glowing with energy far beyond anything the Empires had ever encountered. The first wave struck without sound, beams of blue light slicing through shields like water through sand. Entire ships disintegrated instantly, reduced to nothing but shimmering dust. The alien fleet fired back, unleashing a fury of plasma and missiles, but their weapons couldn't lock onto the human ships. They're phasing out of space. One officer shouted, panic breaking his voice. We can't hit them. The Shadow Fleet moved with clinical precision. Human ships danced between the enemy formations, crippling the war fleet without mercy. It wasn't a battle. It was an annihilation. The Daru's desperation. From the bridge of his warship, Kaz watched in horror as his fleets were torn apart. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. This can't be happening, he whispered. But it was. Humanity's weapons were not just advanced, they were beyond comprehension. The Daru ships, once symbols of terror, were powerless. Desperate, Kaz opened a channel to the Council. Send reinforcements. We're being destroyed. The Farron leader's face appeared, her expression solemn. You were warned, Kaz. Humanity offered you a choice, and you refused it. Now, you reap what you have sown. Kaz's ship trembled under another blast. For all his pride, he could only scream as the human fleet descended upon the Daru forces, erasing them from existence. A galaxy changed forever. In the aftermath, the once mighty fleet was gone, reduced to drifting debris scattered across the void. Humanity had not only won, they had proven themselves untouchable. The message was clear: Earth would not be conquered. In the council chamber, silence reigned as the surviving leaders watched the recordings. The power they had wielded for centuries was now meaningless. The humans had broken the chains of the old order. The Farron leader rose slowly, her silver eyes reflecting the weight of the moment. The galaxy will never be the same, she whispered. And she was right. Across the stars, the empires trembled, for they had learned a truth they could no longer deny. Humanity was not just another species. They were a reckoning, the echoes of surrender. The galaxy held its breath. Entire fleets had been humbled, empires stripped of their invincibility, and whispers of humanity's unstoppable power echoed through the void. For the first time in millennia, the great civilizations no longer looked at Earth with contempt. They looked with fear. But humanity had not struck out of malice or hatred. Their every move was deliberate, every message measured. And now, in the silent aftermath of victory, Earth prepared for the next phase of its plan. A reckoning built on choice. The new transmission. Across every known star system, humanity's voice returned, broadcast simultaneously to every council chamber, every warship, and every civilian terminal. It was no longer a declaration of war, but a challenge to conscience. General Kate Malinova stood on the command deck of Vanguard, her image projected across the galaxy. Her voice was calm, carrying the weight of someone who spoke not for glory, but for survival. To the leaders of the galactic empires, we offer you this moment of reflection. The broadcast shifted to show the devastation left behind. Alien ships drifting as cold wrecks, planets left defenseless but untouched. Humanity had not destroyed for the sake of it. They had struck only where provoked, leaving lifelines intact for those willing to retreat. We are not conquerors, Malinova continued, but we are no longer prey. For centuries, you waged war against weaker civilizations, consumed their worlds, and ruled through terror. Today, you see the cost of that arrogance. Her eyes narrowed, unyielding. Now you have a choice. Acknowledge humanity's place in this galaxy, or challenge us again. And we will answer, not with violence, but with your irrelevance. The feed ended. The message was simple. Humanity would no longer tolerate the old order. The council fractures. The Galactic Council chamber was chaos. Leaders shouted over one another, their composure shattered. Kos, disheveled and furious, slammed a fist into the table. You cowards! We let them humiliate us, and now they dictate terms to us. Where is your pride? Across the room, Ulraya of the Plender Alliance stood. Her voice carried above the chaos. Pride is what brought us here, Kos. Humanity offered us peace, and we answered with war. How much more destruction must we invite before we see reason? A representative from the Royan Empire, her scales gleaming darkly, rose to speak. They have outmatched us, not with numbers or power, but with their ingenuity. They fight wars we don't understand. Perhaps the girl is right. We must adapt. Kos's voice cracked with desperation. You would bend to them. They are insects. The Farron leader, quiet for long moments, finally stood. Her glowing silver eyes swept the room. Insects? No, Kos. You are wrong. They are fire. You can stomp on it and scatter the embers, or you can let it grow into something you cannot contain. Humanity has given us a gift. A chance to reconsider our place in this galaxy. The Council's silence spoke louder than any argument. Pride had blinded them for too long. Now, survival demanded change. Earth's proposal. Days later, emissaries from the empires were summoned to Earth. For most, it was their first time seeing the fabled Death World. They arrived prepared for intimidation, harsh landscapes, hostile creatures, and cities of iron and war. Instead, what they found left them speechless. Earth was a marvel. Towering cities gleamed with technological wonder, blending seamlessly with sprawling green forests, clear oceans, and skies alive with orbital stations. Humanity had tamed its world, not with destruction, but with balance. The delegates were escorted to a vast underground chamber where Earth's leaders awaited. General Malinova stood at the center, flanked by scientists, diplomats, and engineers. Welcome to Earth, she began. Her tone was firm, but not unkind. You expected ruin. You assumed we are monsters because we come from a world you call harsh, but we are not monsters. We are survivors. She gestured to the projections behind her, images of Earth's struggles, of wars long past, of cities reborn from devastation. This is who we are, Malinova continued. Humanity has endured extinction, not once, but 100 times over. We've learned to rebuild, to adapt, and to grow stronger with every fall. She turned her gaze to the emissaries. We offer you the same chance. The wars you have fought are wars of pride and greed. But there is another way, a path of cooperation, of shared knowledge and survival. The alien emissaries exchanged uncertain glances. None of them had expected this, a proposal for peace, not surrender. What do you want from us? The Royan delegate asked cautiously. Respect, Malinova replied. A seat at the table. The galaxy is vast enough for all of us, but only if we choose to build it together. The test of trust. While Earth's leaders spoke of peace, the Shadow Fleet remained hidden, watching. Humanity knew trust would not come easily. Many of the empires still harbored fear, and fear was dangerous. In one final act of assurance, Humanity made a bold gesture. The humans offered access to some of their technology, not weapons, but innovations in medicine, energy, and transportation, solutions to problems the empires had ignored for centuries. The Plender Alliance was the first to accept. Alraya returned to her people with technologies that would heal entire worlds, and she delivered a message. The humans are not our end. They are a beginning we never imagined. Kos's last stand. But not everyone could let go of hatred. Kos, blinded by his need for revenge, gathered what remained of the Daru forces and launched a final assault on Earth's solar system. The Daru ships roared toward the human homeworld, weapons blazing, desperate for vengeance. But humanity had seen this coming. The Shadow Fleet emerged from the void like wraiths, encircling the Daru ships in a matter of minutes. No shots were fired. No explosions erupted. Instead, humanity disabled their enemies once more. Systems flickered, engines failed, and weapons fell silent. Kos's ship drifted helplessly in space as General Malinova's voice echoed through his comms. "This is your last chance, Kos. Surrender and live. Refuse, and you will disappear into history, forgotten." Kos slumped in his chair. He had lost, not just a battle, but his war against change. His ship went quiet. A new dawn. The galaxy watched as the Daru Confederacy submitted, its leaders replaced by those who understood the new order. The great empires, Royan, Plender, and even the Farron, acknowledged humanity's place among them. In time, Earth became more than a symbol of strength. It became a beacon of possibility. Humanity did not seek to rule. They sought to rebuild, to cooperate, and to challenge the old ways. As General Malinova stood on the observation deck of Vanguard, she looked out at the stars with quiet resolve. "This is not the end," she said softly. "This is where the real story begins." And across the galaxy, for the first time in ages, the future felt uncertain. But it also felt full of hope. The forge of tomorrow. The galaxy was changing. The empires that had once ruled with iron fists now faced a new reality, one shaped not by force but by ingenuity, balance, and the indomitable will of humanity. Earth's quiet revolution had shattered millennia of arrogance, and from the ashes of old power, a new era was being forged. But humanity knew that victory was not the end. It was only the beginning of a fragile peace, one that would demand vigilance, innovation, and trust to survive. The assembly of equals. In the newly established Council of Balance, leaders from every major empire gathered for the first time as equals. The chamber was no longer a place of alien superiority. It was a symbol of unity, carved into a neutral star station constructed through human design. General Kate Malinova sat at Earth's seat, observing the gathered delegates. There was tension, but there was also hope. "We sit here today not because of conquest," she began, her voice steady and commanding, "but because we chose to confront our flaws instead of ignoring them. Humanity did not rise to rule. We rose to survive, and we offer the same chance to you." Her words echoed through the vast chamber, met by both curiosity and skepticism. Kos's replacement, a younger Daru leader named Vikara, stood to speak. Her voice was cautious but genuine. "We have seen what you can do. Your technology, your strategy, your ability to fight without spilling blood. It humbles us. But many among my people still ask, what does humanity truly want?" Kate leaned forward, her eyes piercing. "We want a galaxy where strength is measured not by power, but by progress. A galaxy where we rise together, not at each other's expense." The room fell silent, the weight of her words settling over the assembled leaders. It was an idea foreign to a galaxy long ruled by fear. The gift of the void. As a demonstration of trust, humanity unveiled what had remained their greatest secret, the void drives. Deep within the halls of human command, Dr. Elian Cortez addressed a delegation of alien scientists. He stood before a massive projection of human ships phasing through space, appearing and disappearing like whispers. "The void drive," he explained, is not about brute force. It is about understanding the fabric of reality, folding space and time to move without resistance. An alien engineer from the Royan Empire blinked in disbelief. This changes everything. Cortez smiled faintly. It can, if used responsibly. Humanity made the unthinkable offer. They would share elements of their void technology, but only under strict collaboration and oversight. Earth would not allow it to be twisted into a weapon. For centuries, the empires had hoarded power, crushing innovation on lesser worlds. Now, Earth was challenging them to think differently. Progress could be shared, not stolen. It was a gamble. But humanity had always been good at taking risks. The remnants of fear. Not everyone welcomed the dawn of this new era. In the shadows, remnants of the old Daru fleet and rogue factions from the Royan Empire plotted their revenge. They viewed humanity's rise as humiliation and unity as weakness. On a barren moon far from the Council's reach, a meeting took place. "They have fooled the others with their gifts and promises," snarled a Royan warlord. "But we see the truth. The humans will dominate us all if we do not act." The Daru captain beside him nodded. "Their void technology makes them untouchable. We cannot fight them directly. Then we fight them from within," the warlord hissed. "Sabotage. Assassination. We will shatter their alliances and plunge this galaxy into war once more. The Council cannot stop us." The shadows stir. Back on Earth, humanity's leaders were not naive. They knew the old powers would not disappear quietly. The Shadow Fleet remained vigilant, patrolling the edges of human space and beyond. General Malinova stood in Earth's war room, her eyes fixed on a holographic map of the galaxy. Beside her, Commander Greaves spoke. "Reports of rogue factions are growing. The Royan and Daru hardliners are regrouping." Malinova's expression hardened. "I expected this. Change is never easy." "Do we strike first?" Greaves asked. "No." Malinova shook her head. "We don't become them, but we will be ready." Humanity's greatest weapon was not its technology. It was its ability to adapt. While the old powers conspired in shadows, Earth forged alliances, sharing knowledge and building trust. A test of unity. Months later, the rogue factions made their move. A coordinated attack struck key trade hubs, hoping to shatter the fragile peace. The galaxy watched in fear, wondering if the humans would retaliate with overwhelming force. But Earth did not answer with war. Instead, human ships moved quickly to protect vulnerable colonies, defending both allies and former enemies alike. The Shadow Fleet neutralized the attackers with surgical precision, dismantling their forces without unnecessary destruction. The message was clear. Humanity would not be provoked into becoming monsters. In a broadcast to the galaxy, Malinova spoke once more. "Your fear of us blinds you to what we offer. We do not seek to dominate, but to defend. Those who threaten peace will find us unyielding, but those who seek a better future will find us beside them." The dawn of a new era. The rogue factions collapsed soon after, unable to rally support in a galaxy that had begun to hope again. Slowly, cautiously, the empires embraced humanity's vision. Trade routes were re-established, not as tools of control, but as bridges between civilizations. Joint research initiatives flourished, led by human scientists and alien engineers working side by side. The void drives revolutionized travel, making the galaxy smaller, more connected. Entire star systems that had been isolated for centuries now thrived as part of a unified network. And Earth. Earth remained at the heart of it all, not as conquerors, but as leaders who had proven that strength and compassion were not opposites. The stars remember. Years later, as General Kate Malinova gazed out at the sprawling expanse of space, she allowed herself a rare moment of peace. Humanity had come far, but the journey was not over. The galaxy was vast, and there were still challenges to face. "Do you think they'll ever truly accept us?" Dr. Cortez asked beside her. Malinova smiled faintly. They already have. Not because we forced them to, but because we gave them a choice. In the depths of space, the stars shimmered with quiet promise. Humanity had not just survived. They had changed the galaxy forever.